Yep. Matching shoes, baby. Matching shoes. That's what it's all about. I believe my leg is in the suction category of apparati. So the way I understand it, there are two basic categories of prosthetic legs. Pin lock, which Richard has, and suction, which I have. And I'm not sure this is exactly suction. It may just be silicone suspension, but I want to talk about this. This is the main thing that's keeping my leg stuck to my body. If I didn't have this thing rolled all the way up, gripping my leg would just fall off. It may not fall off in the first step, but it's going to fall off eventually. So basically, I think more so than suction is friction. There may be a little bit of suction holding it on too, but I think most of this leg design is friction. And so let me roll down this silicone. It's got a weave of cloth over the top of it. And you can see I'm already damaging it. I've already got a hole in it. But as soon as I roll this thing down, but as you can see, I'm rolling this down. This is my socket. It's made out of carbon fiber, and it's attached to the leg at the bottom and further down my foot. So as I pull this out, I think this is a unique system. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody else wearing this system. So I pull my leg out, and then I've got multiple layers underneath that. First layer I've got is an added sock that goes to the outside of this insert, and I'm not sure what they call this insert. He's called it something, Pita something's, Piper something, I'm not sure. But it smells like Bondo. It's very rubbery, so I would say it's probably a mix of Bondo and some kind of rubbery compound. But it's formed to my leg as good or better as the socket is. But normally, most people put this down into the socket directly. And it's way too loose for my leg. So, but anyway, I've got a sock over this. I think that's on here to protect the insert. I think he said keep this on all the time. But now I'm going to show you the first layer. And this is an adjustment sock. I add these during the day as my leg transforms, as the size of my leg decreases, to keep my leg from pistoning up and down inside the socket. I have to add socks during the day. Sometimes it's several times a day. I still haven't gotten the feel for exactly what I need, but this is a 3-ply sock. This is a 1-ply that always stays on here, but I've started out with 1-plies before and added 1-plies on top of that. I got to like 3 yesterday, so I figured, well, I'll just start out today with a 3, and so far it's worked pretty well. But this is the skin, the silicone that goes over my skin, and it's basically the same thing as that, except it's kind of designed to go on directly onto the skin. So this is the first level of protection for my leg, and apparently the first level of friction. And you can see my leg's a little bit raw and red there and sweaty. But this is how I put this thing on every morning when I get out of bed. And another thing that I want to talk about now, so I don't have to talk about it later, is I've got scars on both my legs. It took forever for these things to heal. When I first got fitted for my leg, this thing was still open. And just lately, since I've been walking around a lot, this thing is trying to open up again. So the only thing that I know how to do is what the prosthetist told me to do. I even called my doctor and she didn't know. But I have been adding some Vaseline here to prevent this friction that comes when I bend my knee. And you can see there's still a little bit there. But this rolls all the way up and adds the first layer of protection, and I think suspension. I think that's what they call this. But then I put this insert on. Normally, this is how I've been doing. I just put my leg directly into this insert. But now that my leg is shrinking, I have to add these in the morning before I go anywhere. And as the day goes on, I add more layers of these. Either I'll add a 3 at first and maybe add a 1 ply on top of this, or at some point maybe I'm going to have to add a 5 in here, maybe 2 5s, maybe 3 5s. But that just keeps that dead space from being there and allows me to not have to go up and down in the socket, which is very painful, and it makes it harder to walk. But as long as I can get this thing on comfortably, and I can, and my kneecap is right here, and this thing should be aligning with my kneecap, and that's pretty close. So I'm pretty comfortable with the fact that that thing's going to go back in here. And then it's pretty simple. If you disregard the layers, it's pretty simple putting this thing on. But yeah, if I pulled my leg out, it wouldn't be very long before my leg came out of this socket if I didn't roll that final layer of silicone up over my leg. And it should be touching my skin. So we'll try to do that now. And that should be it. And this thing fills up with sweat. The more I work with it, the more disgusting it becomes. But this carbon fiber socket is attached to this plate down here, and he added an offset plate, I think, to make this stem move forward a little bit and force me to push my leg back. And then down at the bottom, I've got this rubber. It almost looks like a foot, but it's kind of like got outlines of toes, and that goes over what appears to be, and I haven't taken this off because I'm not sure if I can get it back on, but it appears to be a carbon fiber, just like a little spoon down here that goes up inside that little rubber. And that's what gives me the flexion. I don't have much flexion in the ankle at all, but when I get up on this, you can see it flexes a good bit, especially when I got my weight on it. But in fact, let me show you that now. If I can get up without falling down. Now, if I can use my little cane here, and I can demonstrate, you can see there's a pretty good amount of flexion in there. It's stiff like a diving board. That's kind of what it feels like. It's just fiberglassy feeling, but it's probably carbon fiber. But like I said, I haven't opened it up. But yeah, so I figured that a few of you would enjoy not only the update, but also a little bit closer look into my leg and how it works and what I have to go through at least once a day. I may get burnt out before I even get to the second or third sock. So I may just lose all my energy. Like I overdid it yesterday, and it was I just did too much. But it felt so good when I was doing most of the stuff. Before I started cooking, everything was like, wow, I'm getting everything done. I went and rode my motorcycle like a dumbass. But it felt so good, it was hard not to, up until the point where I just got to, I'm exhausted. My leg is killing me, and there's probably nothing I can do because it really wasn't going up and down. So I think it was just the leg was worn out, and it was tired of all that pressure on it. And that's basically what happens is the pressure, all the pressure goes around the stump. Everybody's thinking that it's going on the tip of the stump. That's what I was afraid of too. I was terrified that the most painful wound I've ever had on my body was going to be the end point of me going down in a socket and pushing on that. But that's not how it is. The tip of my stump doesn't touch at all. It's everything around it up to the knee. And that's where all that friction is. That's where all that pressure is. So when I start walking, that's what I feel. I don't feel the tip of the stump. I don't feel anything around the wound. Everything's fine. What I do feel is pressure. Pressure up around the skin, around the tissue, all the way up to the knee. And that can get painful, and it does. It absolutely does get painful. So, but I just wanted to give y'all some detail, a little bit of an update. And if I don't fall down out here, it's very uneven. It's very hard to walk on this. It's very hard to walk downhill. It's very hard to walk on anything I can't predict, which the grass, I can kind of see where the ground is going, but until you put your heel in it, you don't know. And then, you know, you put your heel in it, it's, oh, it's downhill. And then my knee starts to buckle, like I said earlier. Anyway, I needed to get out of the house today. I needed to do something strenuous, keep my leg going, keep my body going. I was hoping to get to the gym either today or tomorrow, but man, I don't know. I'm kind of exhausted. But as long as I'm going every day, as long as I'm moving, as long as I'm not laying down, sitting on my ass all day, I feel like I'm making progress. So eventually I'm going to get to the gym. I started keto today, feeling good about, or yesterday, feeling good about that. Weighed in at 313 pounds yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised I've lost 10 pounds already. That's all I got.